Very good morning, all of you. In the previous video, we have done lead compensation as well as lag compensation technique. Now we will see the lag lead compensation technique. Generally, many of the circuits will not be satisfied. Many of the systems will not be satisfied by using either a single lead compensation or single lag compensation. Maybe because independently lag compensation have a few disadvantages, lead compensation also have few disadvantages, right? So in order to overcome those disadvantages, it'll mix lag and lead together to make another two compensators. The first one is lag lead compensation, and the second one is, which is opposite, the lead lag compensation. If you do the lag lead compensation in the similar way, you can complete lead lag also. Okay. Of course, these combinations of lag and lead compensators will give more and more advantages when they are taken single, which means by taking single lag compensator or a single lead compensator, those disadvantages can be eliminated by the combination of these two. Okay. So for an uncompensated system, if you use lag lead compensation, then definitely this compensator will provide faster response, and it will provide enough bandwidth, because those are the major drawbacks in respective compensation techniques when we consider them singly. So all these drawbacks can be eliminated by integrating or by the combination of these two. Okay, so that's why we are going to club lag and lead compensators together to form lag lead compensation as well as a lead lag compensation networks, and these networks can have more and more advantages. Of course, these are a little difficult to derive when compared with the lag and lead compensations, but these compensators, the combination of lag and lead compensators, are having more advantages. Now let's see the lag lead compensation network. You can see this is the network of lag lead compensation, and you see here the input side, the resistor R1 and capacitor C1 are connected, and at the output side R2 and C2 are connected. Okay, so for both the resistors, capacitor C1 C2 are connected. For R1 C1 is connected in parallel, for R2 C2 is connected in series. We know we have individually seen lead and lag compensators, right? So similarly the circuit diagram will be like this. So from this circuit or from this network, we can derive the transfer function for this lag lead network. For deriving the transfer function, the output here is a V2, which means V2 of S by the input is V1. So V2 of S by V1 of S, we need to derive that one in order to get the transfer function, which means we can get the gain of that compensator. So apply KVL, KCL equations and simplify, then we will get the final transfer function, which is V2 of S by Vc, or V1 of S, which is S plus 1 by R1 C1 into S plus 1 by R2 C2 into S square into 1 by R1 C1 plus R2 C2 plus 1 by R2 C1 into S plus 1 by R1 R2 C1 C2. So this is a quadratic expression. This is the quadratic expression. You can see S square term is there. So if we want to write the numerator, this quadratic expression, in terms of roots like this, so this entire expression can be simply represented like this. Here you can see 1 by R1 C1 is there, so that's why here tau 1 is considered, where tau 1 is the R1 C1 and tau 2 is the R2 C2. Tau 1, tau 2 are the time constants for the respective RC networks, right? So from this transfer function, we can simplify this transfer function and we can write the entire compensator transfer function in terms of alpha and beta, tau 1 and tau 2. Where alpha is the attenuation constant, you know that alpha value which is less than 1. in the previous sections in the lag compensator and lead compensator, we have seen the formula for alpha also, where alpha is the attenuation constant and beta is always greater than 1 because alpha and beta are inversely proportional, which means alpha is nothing but 1 by beta, or beta is equal to 1 by alpha. You can write either way. So from this expression, we can also see that alpha into beta is equal to 1. If you multiply alpha into beta, then we will get 1. So we have to choose alpha and beta value in such a way that the product of alpha and beta has to be 1. And you can see in this transfer function, the first term represents the lag compensator, where in the lag compensator we will represent beta, where beta is greater than 1. And the second term, you can see the second term represents the lead compensator. In the lead compensator, we use the term alpha, which is attenuation constant, and this alpha is always less than 1. Okay, so instead of writing alphas and betas combinedly, we can replace alpha or beta, or we can write the entire expression in either alpha terms or either beta terms, because we have relation between alpha and beta, right? So from this, I am eliminating this alpha. So instead of writing 1 by alpha, I can write beta here, right? So instead of writing alpha and betas, directly convert all alphas into beta. Then the final transfer function will become like this. And from this transfer function, we can directly decide the poles and zeros. You can see this is the 0 because the zeros are determined from the numerator roots. So here the numerator roots are minus 1 by tau 1 or t1. Second root is minus 1 by tau 2 or t2. You can use a tau or capital T for representing the time constants. Okay. And in the denominator, the poles will be marked. And here the first pole is minus 1 by beta tau 1. And the second pole is beta by tau 2, minus beta by tau 2. So if we represent the entire transfer function in terms of factorization in order to mark the zeros and poles on the S-plane, we can write S plus Z1 into S plus Z2 by S plus P1 into S plus P2. So here we will get 2 zeros and 2 poles. Or if you want to write in terms of 1 plus ST format, then the final transfer function will become, you can see tau 1 or T1 is multiplied here. So 1 plus ST1 or S tau 1. For the second term, it will be 1 plus S tau 2 or 1 plus S tau T2, right? Tau or T, you can use anything. And similarly, here also 1 plus tau 1 by beta into S, here 1 plus tau 2 beta, yes. So you can write in this way, or you can write in this way. These two are same, and these two are the compensator transfer functions, where tau 1 or T1 is R1C1, which is a time constant. Similarly, tau 2 is R2C2. This is also a time constant. And for the simplification, you can see here for this term, instead of using this term is used, which is 1 by beta tau 1 plus beta by tau 2. For simplification, we have to factorize this quadratic expression, right? So for factorization, instead of this term, if we simplify, of course, we know T1 and T2, you can simplify T1 and T2, you will get this term only. So this is the transfer function of the proposed lag lead compensator, right? And from this expression, we can mark the poles and zeros to see the dominating part here. And this is the S-plane with poles and zeros plot. And you can see here we're having 2 poles and two zeros. So here the first pole and it is the second pole, and these two are the zeros. Of course, you can see it is having a dominating pole. It is having a dominating pole because this pole is very close to the origin. Dominating pole means in the lag network we are having a dominating pole. So that's why this is a lag lead compensator. Lag lead, of course, lead effect will be there. Lead effect will be there definitely, but here the major factor is created by the lag network. So that's why the term is a lag lead compensator. And in the lag compensator, we will have a dominating pole. That's why overall here we are getting a dominating pole. So zeros are lies in between the two poles, right? So dominating pole is there. Of course, this lag lead network may introduce a positive phase angle when we connect in the series. And from this transfer function, this transfer function is represented in the S domain. If we want to determine the stability of this lag lead compensator, we must construct the Bode plot, right? As we have done for the lag network, similarly for the lead network. So in the same way, to determine the stability or to see the frequency analysis of this lag lead compensator, simply substitute or convert this Laplace domain into the frequency domain by simply substituting S is equal to j omega. Substitute S is equal to j omega to convert this Laplace domain into frequency domain. So now you can see, simply substituting S is equal to j omega, the final expression of this transfer function will be V naught of S by Vi of S is equal to 1 plus T1 j omega into 1 plus T2 j omega by 1 plus T1 by beta j omega into 1 plus T2 beta j omega. So this is the final transfer function. When we represent this in frequency domain, because in order to get the Bode plot for a transfer function, we have to convert the transfer function from S domain to frequency domain. So we have done it. Next, what we need to, what we require to plot the Bode plot, we need to have the magnitude as well as the angle. So from this transfer function, the magnitude of the transfer function will be this one, and the phase angle will be this one. We know how to get this magnitude and phase angles, right? We have done a lot of problems on Bode plot as well as in the polar plot also. So the process of getting magnitudes and the phase angles are very similar or the same as we have seen in the Bode and polar plots. So from this transfer function, the magnitude and phase plots has been expressions has been attained, and from this expression we can plot the Bode plot magnitude. This is the magnitude plot of the Bode. You can see here. And similarly, this is the phase plot. This is the phase plot. See, we have clubbed the lag compensator network and the lead compensator network. So that's why the positive, this is the positive slope and this is the negative slope. So the negative slope will be contained by the lag network. The positive slope, we will get the positive slope in the lead network. So the combination of these two we are getting. And similarly, you can see the phase angles also. The negative phase angle will comes in the lag network and the positive phase angle will comes in the lead network. So the combination of these two, we are getting the combination of these two. So the lag lead compensator, similarly lead lag compensator also, which is very, the theory of the lead lag compensator is quite opposite to the lag lead compensator. So which is both are contra. So these both compensators definitely contains all the properties individually contains by lag network as well as the lead network. So these two networks combined together, then all the properties will come together and all these will become advantage. The disadvantage can be eliminated by clubbing these two. You can see here we are getting a negative phase, we are getting the positive phase, we are getting negative slope, we are getting positive slope. That means based on the requirement of the given control system, we will use a dominating lag or a dominating lead. Dominating lag means lag lead compensator. Dominating lead means lead lag compensator. So based on that requirement, we will use. And if you observe that the lag network having a negative phase and the lead network having positive phase. This is the negative phase and this is positive phase. And you can see this is happened at lower frequencies and this is happened at higher frequencies. The leading network is working at higher frequencies and the lagging network is working under lower frequencies. From this, from the graph, we can make few statements that the lag lead compensator, the phase lead and phase lag occurs at different frequency regions. Of course, you can see the regions of the frequencies. Here the frequency is different and here the frequency is different. This is for lag and this is for lead. So the phase of lag and the phase of lead occurs at different frequencies. And also you can see at low frequency phase lag characteristics is noticed. Sorry. So that means this is the low frequency range. The frequency is starting from here and it is going to infinity, right? So it is like this way. So it means this is for lower frequency and you can see the characteristics of magnitude as well as the phase of this Bode plot. This is for lag network characteristics and this is lead network characteristics. So the lead network characteristics are occurring at higher frequencies and lag network characteristics are occurring at lower frequencies. So with that Bode plot, we can observe these points, and this combination contains all the advantages those are having with independent lag and independent lead networks combinedly. Before going to see the advantage, first see the effects of lag lead compensator. The lag lead compensator generally increases overall bandwidth of the system. Of course, this is the disadvantage that we are having in the lag compensation. In the lag compensation, the bandwidth is very low. So that disadvantage can be improved here. And also due to the use of this lag network, we are having steady state performance and which gets improved. So we will be having a better steady state response with the lag network, which cannot be attained in the lead compensation. That is the disadvantage of the lead compensation. In the lead compensation, we cannot improve the steady state performance. So the disadvantage in the lead compensator is improved and the disadvantage in the lag compensator is also improved with this lag lead compensator. So finally, we can say that this lag lead network provides quick response because the lead network is there, with good accuracy and better steady state response because lag network is there, right? So the combined effects will be there for the lag lead compensator. So coming to the advantages of lag lead compensator, due to the presence of both the lag and lead, the system speed, of course, the speed will be increased. So we'll get the quick response. And also, it also increases the gain crossover frequency to the higher value. So this is generally lead compensator property. So by shifting this gain crossover frequency to the higher value, we will increase the speed of the system. If the gain crossover frequency is lower value, then the system speed will become slow. The system speed will be slow. So because of the lead compensator, the system speed increases because the gain crossover frequency is shifted to higher value. And because of this lag network, the steady state accuracy or the network response accuracy is improved. So the combined advantage will be having for this lag lead compensator. So this is about lag lead compensation. Thank you.